everybody. This is Claron Sharif with my business partner here, fellow actress, director, Danielle Ward, and welcome to Chatter 15 Minutes of Fame. We are here. Danielle, take it away.
Where are we going? Kidding. So, improv. No. So we just want to introduce ourselves on this first episode of Chatter, 15 Minutes of Fame. Take it away. I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself if you don't know who I am. My name is Danielle Ward, and I originally hail from Illinois. I was born in Peoria, but raised in Springfield, Illinois. Always wanted to act, but my teeth were jacked up, and I couldn't afford braces, so I never tried out for like the school plays and stuff like that. So I just was like, and I always smiled like like that. But then when I was like 23, I got my income taxes and I was like, I can buy my own braces. So I did that. And then fast forward like 10 years. When I was 33, I had my first film role, but I had been doing like plays and things like that, skits in church prior to that. And I had always been a writer since I was a child. I started off with poetry, or like when somebody makes you mad, I was like all passive aggressive. So I would like write terrible things that rhymed about people. So I did that. And then that just kind of like gravitated to stories. And so now at this big grown age, I'm writing screenplays and shorts and stuff like that. 2021, I founded my company, Baldy Locks Productions. Shot my first short film called Off the Grid. Joined a writing class, or writing group, I should say. And they got my ass in gear, and they were like, "The shitty first draft, what is this?" And after that, it kind of like set me on the right path as far as like screen structure, things like that. So, in a little nutshell, that's me and how I got here. I'm in Vegas now. I'm in Las Vegas. I moved to Vegas in 2018. And that just set me on a different trajectory. And I felt like I had to leave Illinois to really be in solitude to be able to pursue what I wanted. So I'm here. I've written a screenplay called Closure, and I won a grant. Erica Nicole Malone she's been giving Black women grants for the last 2 years, and I was a winner in 2023. I was like, oh, took me by surprise. But after that, I also won at the Las Vegas Black Film Festival last month, best written work for the same screenplay. So now I am in the process of getting sponsorships and investors to help fund my project. So that's where I'm at.
Wow. There's some things in there I didn't even know about you. Wow. Okay. So me, Claron Sharif, I've wanted to be an actor. I knew I wanted to be an actor at the age of 10. And my inspiration was Carol Burnett. There was this skit, it was the Carol Burnett show, and she did this skit. It was a spoof off of Gone with the Wind, where the character, I forget the character's name, but she made this dress out of curtains. So Carol Burnett had the curtain rod. She just, oh my God, she just did it. And if I remember correctly, she stepped down the stairs and went tumbling down the stairs like she does. And I said, that's what I want to do. Maybe not tumble down the stairs, but that's what I want to be. I want to be an actor. I started off doing extra work a long, long time ago. I really didn't know a lot. But some years later, I had my children. So my children, I had to put my career on the back burner. Then I got to a point where my mother said, go back to school. I was like, I'm not going back to school. You don't need to go to school for acting. So I went back to school, got my associate's degree in the arts, learned some things. I'm glad I did it. I learned about target audiences, how to write better sentences, things like that. But it certainly does not go in depth into acting and directing. So there are different specialized areas that you can take advantage of. So fast forward, I started doing theater. I didn't like theater at first. A classmate of mine said, come on down, they're looking for somebody. And so I went to Heartland Theater Company, the late Mike Dobbins. He was my instructor, mentor, um, put me in this play. And I loved it. I'm like, wow, this is fun. So, I did some stuff here and there. And I finally started taking my career more seriously. Fast forward, did some short films recently. Back in 2022, I did a Starbucks commercial. I was the teacher.
All right.
That was so much fun. What else? I got my notes here. I got to cheat. I do write my own work. I do have a short film out there called As a Man. No, I'm not in it. I'm behind the scenes. I told my brother is always interested in what I'm doing. And he's like, what's it called? I said, As a Man. He's like, is there something you need to tell me? It's like, no, I'm not in it. No, I didn't get a sex change. But it's out there on YouTube. And it's just something that I love to do. I like writing my own work. I too have a production company. It's on the back burner right now because I got an agent. That was another pivotal moment for me when I finally got an agent. Talent X Alexander Agency. Shout out to my agents, Lisa Mooney and Laura Alexander. Gosh, what else? There's so much to tell, but you know what? We'll get into that in future episodes. I called up Danielle. I started thinking. I said it's time to make another step forward in your career. What else can you be doing? Because there's a lot of rejection in what we do. I said, Danielle, what's Danielle doing? Because I've always wanted to do a podcast. So I said, let me call Danielle. Let's see she do it. And she gladly accepted. I'm so happy.
Oh my God. I was like, this is the breath of fresh air that I needed. Like somebody to just
Yes.
I want to double back around to something you mentioned.
Yeah.
So you kind of, when you had children, you put it on the back burner a little bit, because you had a family. I don't. When I was a kid, I didn't know that like what I was doing was like acting. So I would watch these TV shows, and then I would go in my room and I would act out the episode. And I thought it was just me being like caught up in whimsy. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, there's a spider on the wall. There's no, I'm just pretending. I had to go to school and pretend. And I never thought that it was something I could do. I never saw myself in those shoes. So I was like, I'll just pretend. And so then when I did start acting in church and everything like that, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun, But I had a son that was young at the time. So I waited until he was still in school, I think high school maybe, before I started, where I felt like it was safe enough that I could start doing some extracurricular activities and I didn't have to worry about him. Did you have any kind of trepidation when you went back to school about it?
Oh yeah, it had been a long time. And I'm like, gosh, the students are going to be younger than I am, and I was in my 30s. And it was like, oh, and things have changed, over time, things are always changed, but some things still remain the same. you know, I didn't think I could do it. I know I told my mother one time, I said, I don't think I can be creative. She's like, of course you can.
Mm.
She's always be, been supportive of my career. She never said, oh, you no, that's not a job. She was big into the arts. She's the one that introduced me, my sisters and brothers and I, to music, art, film, all those things that fall up under the arts. Yeah, so there was some trepidation, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Um, you know, because I like rushed through my introduction, I was like, oh yeah, I did that too. Um, my first, yeah, 2009 was my first acting role, and I was terrified. And I think I did all the things you aren't supposed to do when I went to the audition, but it worked.
It did.
So God smiled upon me, and it worked. So Kim Connor,
Yep.
Illinois
Kim
filmmaker,
Carter,
Kim Connor,
shout
she was posting auditions for her first short film called This Life Ain't Pretty. And I saw it in the Illinois Times, and my first thought was, because at that point my teeth were fixed, and I was like smiling all the time,
out.
And I was like, oh, I can just smile at the camera. So, so I looked at the casting call, and I was like, if I remember correctly, it said something like shooting in November. That there weren't shooting dates yet, but I was like, oh, I've got time in my schedule, I can do that, you know. And then I totally was like that. I was just like, so I email and get an audition slot. What did I do right before the audition? I went and bought an afro at the hair store. I was like, I'm gonna be a character and come in there. So, and it was a cold read. So I go in there with this big old afro, and it was Kim and her D, and we chatted for a little bit, and she was like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "Okay." So but before I went in there, I was like almost crying, and I called my mom, and I was like, "Why am I doing this?" And she was like, "Girl, why?" She was like, "Call me when you get done." And I was like, "Thanks for the support." I go in and read, and then they give me another script to read. I was like, "Okay, all cold read, and I hate cold read," but I did it. And then she's like, What does your schedule look like in June?" And I was like, "What?" And so she told me she was going to have callbacks the following Saturday, I believe. And I went back, and she offered it to me, and I was like, "You lying!" Like on the inside, I couldn't believe. I was like, "You lied to me!" And that did a lot for my self esteem because I was terrified. However, I'm good at faking confidence. So, I went in there with that big old afro. Because later, when she's like, "Oh, you don't have an afro," I was like, "No, I just bought it for the audition." Like, why? I don't know. It was like an impulse, but it worked. It worked. But after that, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Um, so then I started getting books and trying to take in as much information as I could about acting. Because, at that point, I was just memorizing lines. I was still doing some character development, but not like I do now, you know. Uh, but whatever it was, like when we finished filming, I think we did it in 2 weekends. I like went home and cried, but it was like a release, like a happy cry. And I don't know what it was that I felt a physical release. I was like, yeah, this is for me. I got to do this. And then here we are, 15, I don't know, 17, sometime years later. Yep.
So we got 21 seconds, but it's okay. We're gonna go over a little bit.
Okay. Okay.
um, yeah, you. Wow, that is a big no-no. We're gonna talk about stuff like that auditioning. Um, Several things that you said. Wow, I'm so nervous right now. Can you tell?
No,
Oh, shut up.
no.
Shut up. Shut up. I'm done with you. I don't need you anymore. But you know what? We're going to be a little messy because we can be.
That's okay.
But I do want to shout out to my friends and family. You know, when you got something going on, those who are really and truly invested in and interested in you, your career, and to support you. Child, they were trying to pump me for information. It's like, so what did you say you were working on? I didn't. I never said. Nice try. Nice try. Not gonna work. No. Send me text messages. It was too much. I'm like, can you just wait? Just wait. But we've got some more episodes coming up. We hope that you love this show because we are going to have some fun, discuss some topics, some good topics, some uncomfortable topics. Um, Reaching out to all our actors out there, directors, writers, check out the talent you see here. See, yeah. Okay. Anything else you want to add?
Not that I can think of, but that we'll drop our links to both of our short films in the description box so people can run over there and take a look at our work.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I almost forgot. I've done some voiceover work locally. I love to do voiceover. I really, really like to get into animation, and yes, I have some character voices that I worked on.
Can you introduce us to one?
Yes, huh?
Can you introduce us to one?
Oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this. It's a combination of one of my favorite detectives, Lieutenant Columbo, Jan Michael Vincent, and Jack Palance.
Okay.
They always look like this. And they all got that raspy voice. You know what I'm saying? I could be like, what's the name on, what's that show, The Simpsons? Julie Kavner. When she does Marge Simpson, that kind of voice. Now, this is something I created. I'm not trying to copy her or anything like that. That's one.
Okay.
So, yeah. But there'll be more.
Okay.
There'll be more.
All right. Giving y'all a little taste.
Oh my gosh. You're frozen. Oh, there you are. Okay.
Like a mime.
All right. That is our end of our show. Thank you for joining us. We will see you soon. Take care.